The main opposition's role in the country's contemporary politics largely diminished. An influential leader from the ruling party itself has come down heavily on the recent government ruling on cost-free test and treatment debacle for COVID-19 patients. At a time when the main opposition remained largely silent on the government's anti-constitutional ruling, leader Madhav Kumar Nepal has urged the government to revoke the decision. Good morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan. These are the headlines of the hour. NCP's influential leader Madhav Kumar Nepal flays the government on not providing free-of-cost test and treatment for COVID-19. Health Minister defends government's decision. Chairman duo of the ruling Nepal Communist Party put forth differing stance on Karnali dispute. The Hal faction expresses reservations on the claims of an agreement by Oli's secretariat. Early results show that an experimental coronavirus vaccine developed by China's Sinovac Biotech appears to be safe in a late-stage clinical trial in Brazil. And Kings 11 Punjab hammered Delhi Capitals in yesterday's match under the Indian Premier League. Dhawan scores a century in a losing cause. (3,093) new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed in the country yesterday, taking the total number of coronavirus cases to 139,129. The death toll, meanwhile, has climbed to 765, with 8 more deaths recorded yesterday. According to the Health Ministry, 1,702 cases were reported from the federal capital yesterday, as Kathmandu district alone confirmed 1,431 cases, while Bhaktapur reported 148 cases and Lalitpur witnessed 123 cases. Likewise, 2,108 individuals registered full recovery yesterday, taking the national recovery tally to 96,609, as the recovery rate stands at 69.4%. According to the Health Ministry, there are over 41,000 active cases in the country, with 13,559 in isolation centers, 28,196 in home isolation and 4,220 individuals in quarantine facilities. The ministry informed that 78 patients are receiving treatment with ventilator support, while 273 are in intensive cares. Senior leader of the ruling Nepal Communist Party and former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal has expressed his dissatisfaction publicly over the government's decision not to offer free-of-cost test and treatment for COVID-19. Issuing a press statement yesterday, leader Nepal criticized the government for the recent decision, terming it as a blatant case of irresponsibility towards the people. Reminding the duty of the government to facilitate the public with proper health service during the pandemic, former Prime Minister Nepal has flayed the government decision as improper, saying that existing legal provisions on infectious diseases have made the government accountable to provide free test and treatment for infectious disease. Leader Nepal urged the government to revoke the decision immediately, citing that the ruling has led to panic among the public. Amid widespread criticism regarding the government's recent decision to withdraw free test and treatment for COVID-19, Health Minister Bhanu Bhakta Dhakal has claimed the treatment for coronavirus will be more effective in days ahead. Minister Dhakal said the government's recent decision not to provide free test and treatment to those who can afford the treatment was in line with the demand of the general public, and said that the government has made necessary arrangements for free health services for individuals and families of low-income backgrounds. The minister reaffirmed that the government was sensitive towards the people's constitutional rights and the mandamus issued by the Supreme Court. The ruling Nepal Communist Party leadership have presented differing claims on the issue of political dispute in Karnali province. The Prime Minister's Secretariat issued a press note claiming that both the chairmen had reached an agreement on the issue. However, the Secretariat of Executive Chairman Pushpakamal Dals has countered it, claiming that there had been no such agreement between the two leaders. The press note from Premier Oli stated that the chairman duo had agreed to withdraw the no-confidence motion against Chief Minister Shahi and to scrap his decision to sack Gulab Jang Saha from the post of Chief Whip. On contrary to the claim, Executive Chairman Dahal's Secretariat has urged all not to go by the claims. Despite holding series of meetings with provincial leaders, differences among the top brass of the ruling party persist in resolving the intra-party dispute of the province. Meanwhile, the prolonged power conflict between the two chairmen has overshadowed the scheduled Central Committee meeting of the party. Party's standing committee meeting had decided to call the Central Committee meeting on 31st of October till 2nd of November. However, the meeting is likely to be postponed until further notice. This, analysts say, is likely to affect the party's upcoming General Convention, which was earlier fixed for March next year. Farmers in the country are once again likely to bear shortages of fertilizers during wheat plantation in upcoming season. As the agricultural inputs company failed to procure fertilizers through contractors, the governments had agreed to borrow fertilizers from Bangladesh. However, the import has been pushed to uncertainty as well. It may be recalled that farmers were compelled to stay in line for hours to fetch 5 kilograms of fertilizers, with many having to return empty-handed. The failure of contractor companies to procure fertilizers and the increasing shortage compelled an initiative at the Prime Ministerial level. Earlier in August, Prime Minister K.P. Sharma Oli called his Bangladeshi counterpart and struck an agreement to import 50,000 tons of urea fertilizers on loan. However, despite all the preparations for the arrival of the fertilizers is still uncertain. Meanwhile, it has come to the light that the annual demand for fertilizers in Bangladesh is 2.5 million tons, while production stands at around 1.5 million tons. Considering the scenario, the Agriculture Ministry has anticipated that the farmers are likely to bear the brunt one more time. The ministry has even terminated contract with 2 companies as a result of their failure to procure fertilizers on time. The ministry has, however, failed to come up with concrete plans apart from urging the Indian company IPL, among others, to procure 20,000 metric tons of DAP and 10,000 metric tons of potash. The government has allocated 11 billion rupees for the procurement of chemical fertilizers. However, concerned authorities have failed to utilize the grant to manage fertilizers. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the local residents in Putan what should be done to reduce the number of cases of violence against women. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Public Voice.
कानुन पनि कडा हुनु पर्यो र करप्सन पनि एकदमै घट्नु पर्यो. हाम्रो देशको मुख्य कारण नै करप्सन हो.
सबै जनताहरुमा लोकतन्त्र, शासन व्यवस्था र सिस्टमको बारेमा राम्ररी ज्ञान हुनु पर्यो र आवाज उठाउनु पर्यो.
आफ्नो घरदेखि परिवर्तन ल्याउनु पर्यो.
कडा नियम ल्याउनु पर्छ.
सरकारले पनि यसमा ध्यान नदिएको मलाई लाग्छ.
जुन प्रकारका लहरु क्रिएट गरेको छ महिला सम्बन्धी, त्यस्ताहरुलाई पूर्ण रूपमा घोक्ने मात्र होइन कि जीवनमा कार्यान्वयन पनि गर्न सक्नु पर्यो.
त्यति सकारात्मक सोच हाबी भएको मानसिकताले गर्दा नेतृत्वमा पुगेका महिलाहरूले पनि उचित तरिकाले नेतृत्व वहन गर्न सकिराखेको अवस्था छैन. उचित तरिकाले प्रभावकारी भूमिका खेल्नका लागि नेतृत्व दिन जरुरी छ.
And now time for our segment Public Pulse, where it texts us with their opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, why has the government failed to import fertilizers agreed on loan from Bangladesh? Your options are option A, weak diplomacy, option B, hasty announcement, and option C, contractors' influence. The voting is on. Type in AWS selector option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And those were our latest headlines. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVS. Stay safe and good day.